got a new sponsor, the Health Blaze. All the information is in the description. Use the promo code above. Goodfella One Boxing at 18% off of all their natural products from deodorant, pomade, toothpaste, and much, much more. And they have additional discounts on their website as well. That's thehealthblaze.com. Starting December 20th. That promo code is good for 18% off. We go. What's going on? We back. Goodfella Sports TV. It's your boy CJ Goodfella. And LeBron James say, hey, a lot of those teams in the East going for it because they ain't got to go through me. He mentioned them by name. And let's talk about it, man. We back once again. It's your boy CJ Goodfella, man. I appreciate everybody for checking in. Don't forget to check our sponsor out, the Health Blaze, at thehealthblaze.com. Promo code Goodfella One Boxing get you 18% off their all natural products, lotions, soaps, foot soaks, bath bombs, deodorant, and much, much more. But this is what LeBron James had to say, and I'll link this article to the description as usual. LeBron says, it's a quote, "Those top teams in the East, yeah, they going for it," James told The Athletic. "Toronto going for it, Milwaukee going for it, Philly, Boston believes they can do it too. They know they ain't got to go through Cleveland anymore. Everybody in the East thinks they can get to the finals because they ain't got to go through me." Yep, and pretty much that sounds like a fact. You know, people could say, well, Boston almost beat them last year. If they would have had Kyrie, they would have beat LeBron. If it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk, right? And Brian talking facts, but there's some facts to be said too. A lot of people said if old Brian, in my Shay Sharp voice, went to the West, he wouldn't be shit. And is there people lie? So it's a double-edged sword. It just shows you how weak the East really was, and they got stronger this year. I don't know if LeBron was on the Cleveland Cavaliers, you know, would they have been running through the East like they did in the many years before that, especially in the playoffs? I really don't think that it would have been an Eastern Conference, shoe-in for LeBron and Cleveland to make it to the finals. This year, I think they would have lost regardless. So Brian got out before that streak got broke. But look at him. They're in the 9th or 10th spot in the West. Portland above them. Oklahoma City above them. You know, they battling with the Sacramento Kings, which is a really, really young team. But at the end of the day, you know LeBron got to make it about himself. He is really, really self-centered, you know, when it comes to basketball. Outside of basketball, I don't think he's more self-centered. I really think he's feeling himself. He really believes he the GOAT for the stuff that he done. But at the end of the day, that's just, you know, that's nothing that you say. That moniker is given. You know, it's a given. But at the end of the day, he might be speaking some facts. A lot of them teams are confident that they can get to the championship because Bron ain't there no more. Like Toronto, they had a mental block, but I think that mental block could have been helped or removed with Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is LeBron kryptonite. He only one or three players that I've seen before defend LeBron and give it buckets. The first I seen was Jimmy Butler and Paul George, but Kawhi Leonard took it to another level. He was getting superstar buckets on Bron and defending Bron and locking them up, you know. So it would have been interesting, man. But LeBron would have had Cleveland in the top 3 or 4 seeds for sure this year. And they probably would have made some more moves to kind of strengthen it up a little bit. But at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. He gone. He not even in the playoffs in the West. Check that out. Homeboy not even in the playoffs. So he need to worry about what's going on in the Western Conference, you know, and not what's going on in the East. You know, he in danger of not making the playoffs. You know, how they going to spin that? Real talk, if the Lakers don't make the playoffs, how's old Shay Sharp going to say that? How's old Chris Broussard and Windhorst and all the LeBron dick riders going to rationalize that? Right now they're in the 10th spot. They won in the loss column behind the Kings for the 9th spot, and they won 2 full games behind the Clippers. Okay, the Clippers, Spurs, Jazz, Rockets, Blazers, Thunder, Nuggets, Warriors, all above them in addition with the Kings. And they 1 game above Dallas and 2 games above Minnesota. Okay? So at the end of the day, what if he don't make the playoffs? What they going to say then? Michael Jordan, through the prime of his reign, he ain't never not made the playoffs. Other than probably his rookie year or something like that. When he was at the top of his game, it wasn't no missing no playoffs. But Shannon Sharp always put emphasis on, LeBron. You know, LeBron ain't never lost or got swept in the first round. Yeah, he was in the weak-ass East. The East was banging back in the day.
It was LeBron and Craig Hodges pretty much. You know what I'm saying? That was it. They went up against some iconic team. They lost to the Bucks one year. They had a pretty good team. Excuse me. Then they lost to the 86. They lost to the 86 Celtics. That was one of the greatest teams of all time. That you go back in history and research it. You know, history tells us that's one of the greatest teams we ever seen. You know, but what they gonna say if LeBron James missed them playoffs? Real talk. What they gonna say? What's gonna be the excuse? I ain't never seen the GOAT in his prime, his team not make the playoffs, and everybody always said it. If he went to the West, he wouldn't have had a cakewalk like that. Now he went to the West and with a team, they got better players around them than Cleveland did. Real talk. With a team, they got better players around him than Cleveland did. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, what they gonna say? That's legacy. I mean, even him making the 8th spot is disrespectful. You know? And what they gonna try to use the excuse that old LeBron James, he was injured some of the season, and before he got injured, the Lakers was in the 4th spot and all. They gonna use that as an excuse. But let's see super duper LeBron James pull them out the gutter and make the playoffs. I believe they will, to be honest. I believe they will. He too good now for them not to make the playoffs. They got too good of a team. But that just shows you the uphill battle that Luke Walton got to deal with. And the uphill battle that Luke Walton got to deal with is that he got to develop young talent and make LeBron happy and make them LeBron friendly. That's tough. Only one that made that adjustment is Kyle Kuzma. Everybody else still trying to find their way. But it's a totally different world when you're talking Eastern Conference and Western Conference from last year. Going into this, it's a totally different world. It ain't no sure thing that the Lakers, still would have held on to that 4th spot. I mean, oh my goodness, CJ McCollum, man, ain't nobody talking about what he doing. He going crazy. He finally arrived. I guess he finally proposed to his fiance, who he been dating for 6 years. He finally proposed to her, and got that situation right. He just going bonkers. Paul George going crazy. It's a lot of unsung heroes in the West. Jokic. And you don't hear nobody, talking about the injuries that the Nuggets had with Gary Harris in and out the lineup, Will Barton in and out the lineup, Jamal Murray in and out the lineup. Guess what? They still number 2, so excuses is for losers. Houston still number 5. So you telling me James Harden with nobody still maintain the 5 spot? Why couldn't the Lakers? Okay, you telling me the Clippers with nobody? They had Tobias Harris, but come on. Go to the Spurs. All these dudes are in the playoffs and they're better than LeBron. That just speaks credence to what everybody been saying before. If homeboy went to the West, it was going to be his ass, Mr. Postman. And that's the fact. Everybody want to anoint this dude for true greatness, but he been having to walk it like you talk it cakewalk all through the East every year. It wasn't no 86 Boston. It wasn't no bad boys Detroit Pistons. You might make a case it wasn't even no Dominique Wilkins in that joint. Toughest task he was going with was Indiana. He had Dwayne Wade, LeBron, and Chris Bosh. Yeah, he went against Boston, and then he teamed up on Boston. Yeah. That's why he went to Miami, because he couldn't get past Boston. But little did he know, if he would have waited, they was getting old. He battled with Chicago, but really it was just D Rose and a bunch of other niggas, man. They can play defense but couldn't score. That's what it was. He didn't have no big nemesis. The Wizards? We talking about the Wizards? Boston Celtics without their best player last year. And the baby Marnie Dinosaurs, he ain't never had no real nemesis. Jordan had Penny and Shaq. He lost 2 the first year. He came back after retirement, then smashed them the next year. He had to go through Boston, Detroit, Cleveland, Mark Price, Brad Daughtry, and them was pretty good. Man, the New York Knicks with Anthony Mason and Oakley and Patrick Ewing and all of them tough Knicks. Indiana Pacers and Reggie, man, that nigga had to go through it all, man. LeBron could compare it to the drive that, Jordan had. But now he emulating it now in the West. You see his ass in the 10th spot. But, hey, it's Goodfellas Sports TV. I appreciate everybody for checking on. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button. Won't miss another video. We on Facebook, Twitter. You can reach out to the email if you got business, question, inquiry, or sponsorship. Don't forget the Hellblaze at thehellblaze.com. They natural products, lotion soaps, foot soaps, bath bomb. Use the promo code. That's in the description as well as the website. Goodfellas Sports TV.